Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with another one of my treadmill chronicles, getting ready to get my workout on. I finally found a way how to mount my camera phone so that I can talk to you guys without holding on to the phone or the gripper here. So just wanting to do another inspiration video to you all. I hope you all are having a blessed day. I hope you all are really blessed during the holidays. I just wanted to get another chat with you in before Christmas and just kind of share some words of inspiration. And to you single ladies, I have some things to talk about with you too. And it'll be interesting. I'm a woman of a certain age, but I'm still single, divorced many years, and am with a significant other, and still have questions and situations that I think that of all ages we single women can address. And so I just wanted to discuss that. I haven't talked about that yet. It's based on one of the follow-ups that I did on a video regarding what was it? Relationship gurus. So, so what I've been doing this month, I've been doing some holiday cooking videos. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you've been, tuning in and watching some of the cooking videos, and I hope you found some value and some helpful tips in there. Some helpful tips in that. And then also, I've been really going over some of the videos that I got the most views on and doing some follow-up on them. So I've been slipping those details in my videos as well, just doing a follow-up on some of the things. Watch some of my latest videos that I have out this month. So this one's another Treadmill Chronicles, and so I'm gonna talk about that relationship guru video that I did. So if you haven't seen that, check that one out as well. All the video links will be in the description box below. And so I wanted to follow up on that and yeah, just do a little bit of talk about that and then talk to some of the single ladies out there. Okay, let's begin. I'm gonna set this camera up, and hopefully this will be the solution so I don't have to keep holding it while I'm working out. All right, guys.
Hey y'all, I want you to go on over to my website, Jewels by Levon. This is a great place to shop. You can stock up on holiday, birthday, anniversary, specialty gift items, as well as doing a bit of a shopping spree for yourself. If you're anything like me, you love to shop and purchase items that are just special for you and the ones you love. And my store is where you'll find them. I'm really excited to invite you to Jewels by Levon. Make sure you come on over, tell others about us, and get those orders in for the holidays. Thanks everyone, and God bless. Happy shopping!
Okay guys, so I'm getting ready to start. I'm gonna be slow and easy while I am doing this video. I'm not gonna get my real workout on because I'm gonna be sweating and looking crazy, and that's not just gonna be this kind of video today. Today I'm gonna try to take it nice and slow while I'm doing the video, and then when I shut you guys off, the sweat is coming, okay? Hey, the sweat might be coming now just for taking a couple of steps. I'm a sweater when I work out, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think a good way to release a lot of your water, your fluid, especially when you become a woman of a certain age, 50 and over, you tend to retain a lot of water, fluids, and things of that nature. Blood pressure shoots up because of it. So working out, walking, jogging, running, if you can run. I like to run. I like to get my run and walk on. It really helps me to release a lot of the fluids. When I blew up, and I'm looking like I blew up because I haven't been walking or doing my workouts, or sometimes I do a little bit of weight training as well. And I've been really influenced at the end of this year pretty much because of health reasons. And so if you can watch one of my first treadmill chronicles, I explained, hey, I needed to get myself on track and stop with the type of diet that I had and start working out more. I've always been a person that worked out. I've never, like in my 20s, 30s, 40s, I've always worked out. And but I noticed after I got, I'll say past 48, the weight and my metabolism started attacking me in my body, and it was because of the type of diet I've held for many years. I like carbs. So I just really wanted to get focused on continuing just at least getting on the treadmill. If I don't do anything else, and then start eliminating some of the heavy carbs that I had been eating. Still love carbs. You see me on my cooking videos, especially during the holidays. I try to stay good during the weekdays, and I try to keep my fasting going on. That helps with my metabolism, but I don't think I will ever give up foods that I love to eat. I'm just not going to do it. We only live in this life so long, and so I'm not going to live my life being so restrictive that I don't enjoy life. And so I think my significant other, who he really is a person that knows about the body and how to work out, because he's really into a lot of fitness, and even he, who has always been fit all of his life, has some struggles with certain things as well, like carbs, and yet he really inspires me to keep up with the working out, keep up with the treadmill, keep going and doing it. And I've noticed it has helped. So now the holidays come about, and so I want to cook and I want to enjoy, and I'm going to do that. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about the video that I did called Relationship Guru. And the reason I did that is because it was a reaction to another YouTuber who did a video about this gentleman, Kevin Samuels, who does this podcast or YouTube or radio show or whatever it is he does. And I started looking, and I had been noticing this before. And it was not just that YouTube content creator, it was others as well that really share and are sharing different folk who are on, YouTube, men giving advice to women about how to obtain a high value male, And so you'll see that video. It was a rant, straight up rant, because I looked at it and I thought to myself, maybe I just jumped to conclusions and judged this gentleman, but it made me laugh. It was kind of funny to me. It wasn't any kind of serious rant where I was upset, because there was like a lot of things going on with me at that time. And when I saw that, I just said, you know what, I'm going to address this. I told myself when I started YouTube that I am not going to get on YouTube and start talking or ranting about anything, because this platform is really not for that. It's to inspire other people. But I just really wanted to talk to some of my young girls out there, my young ladies, I should say, out there. And I was saying, don't listen to these guys. They can give you some helpful tips. I don't know why I can't say that word. I think I tried to say it before my intro, and I keep saying tips, but I mean tips, T-I-P-S. I'm going to put it up there somewhere. But anyway, I wanted to talk to some of the younger ladies who may see a gentleman, one of these relationship gurus giving you advice, and so feel like you need to take that advice, and they probably do give you some very helpful tips. Keep doing it again. They probably do give you some helpful tips, but if you're Christian, I can't speak for anyone else, and that's what I was saying in the relationship guru video. I can't talk to anyone else but Christian. And then I did bloopers on that video. Kept saying, because I was on a rant, righteousness and holiness without no one shall see God. But the biblically correct way to say that is without peace and holiness we shall not see God. So that was a correction that I needed to put on there. But the bigger purpose of me doing that video, it's the longest video that I did, because I was ranting. But the purpose of doing that video is because I wanted to share with the young folk, you can take your concerns and burdens to the Lord. We don't have to, as single people, rely on folk to pay money for their service, and that service is for me to give you the secret on how, to obtain this or that in a relationship. It's almost like, here it is, I have a carrot, meaning some knowledge that you don't know about, and I'm going to share that with you. It's always for a price. There's always an end goal. It's not for some books or CDs to be sold, some workshop or one-to-one something going on. There's always an end goal. And so when you see these kinds of folk with this advice that's so valuable that you have to pay to get it. Now some of them are on YouTube, and they are sharing free advice, meaning they come on, and so you're not paying for YouTube. Hold on, guys. My cat wants to go out the door. Let me let her out. I closed the door because it gets real noisy with the cars going by. So let me let them in or out. Some want to come in and some want to go out. All right, you guys stay out. Mommy is taping. I'll get you in a minute, okay? Stay out there and play. They like to play in the backyard, and they're really good cats. They're feral cats turned domestic. And so they're trained to stay in the backyard. And they really protect my property around there. Sometimes I sit in the front porch, and they come out in the front, but they're really trained. And they don't go anywhere. They go out, they secure my surroundings from rodents and all of that kind of stuff. And then at a certain time, they come in. Around 3:30, 4 o'clock, they'll be coming in because that's when it started to get dark. So I don't allow them out at night. So they're trained to sleep in the day. They get up really, really early in the morning. Sometimes they want me to get up along with them to let them out, but I don't let them out until it's nice and warm, especially in the winter. It's nice and warm, and what we consider warm, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. They go out, they come back in around 3:30, and so anyway, back to this video, and I can turn this up a little bit more. I feel like I'm not going to sweat that much. So anyway, I was sharing, the reason I did that video is because I wanted to share with young ladies, young single ladies. We read in the Bible, the Old Testament, about how there were so many men, so many women to one man. We read in statistics today how there are so many women to one man. And a lot of women who have, gone on and accomplished with their careers find themselves in late bearing years, baby bearing years, and they're ready to get married and bear children past a certain time because they know that time is closing. Their biological clock is ticking. And so their efforts to get married and have children, they find, wow, I was told to go to school, get my education, get my career going on. so I could take care of myself. However, now that I'm ready to have a family, I can't find anyone. So there are a lot of people out there, men and women, all colors, all backgrounds. They are sharing this valuable information to those who are single and who are in need. And my advice is that those things should come naturally in us. It should be what my significant other calls organic. How people come together and meet. There should not be some algorithm, some format of step 1, step 2, step 3. And then on top of that, if there is a way that we should come together as men and women, those details are listed in the Bible. It discloses how a woman should be as far as being virtuous, and it discloses how a man should be as far as a provider. It talks about how God is the covering or the head of our household and our home, and under God, as far as authority is concerned, spiritual and physical and soul-based authority. That next level would be the man. And then from the man, the woman, right? And so, okay, so these relationship gurus, they have, like these methods, proven methods to share with the single women, the single ladies, on how to attract a man. And I believe some of them give advice on how a man should attract a woman or approach a woman, and those types of things. And so there are some valid facts and truths to these gurus. They share some valuable information, especially if they're men and they're sharing information about how a man thinks, or that kind of thing, just keeping it real, so that women can't go off on these or fantasy type ideas about relationships that's not true. It's assumed that we know we should come together and have family, be husband and wife, form families and that kind of thing, because family is the strongest institution that exists and the most important. That's how God works through us, through family. So it seems that it's assumed that we should do it, come together and get married. Not for all people, but whoever wishes to do so. But it's not really emphasized. And it's not really something that's focused on. Like, no matter where you're at, growing up, through school, you see people who are married, but you never, it just seemed to be something that should naturally happen. You saw your parents married. I come from a 2-family household, so I'm going to speak from my perspective. I always thought, it's going to happen. Now, I wasn't the type that grew up with my Barbie dolls and Ken and Barbie got married, or what were the black ones' names? I had the black Barbie dolls. My mom would get us the black dolls, but I had some white dolls too. but when the black dolls, are available, that's when she would get us the black dolls. And the black Barbie and the black Barbie, male and female, they didn't get married. I never did that. I made them clothes. They had fashions, out of the clothes that I made for them, but they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they weren't married. Now, that's something maybe mental health wise that I have to deal with. I don't know, but I know a lot of young women growing up, getting married is something that they dreamed about. And a lot of women are disappointed as they're getting older, realizing that that may never happen. In this day and age in society, it's not emphasized as much as it was during my parents' years. Now, there are those of you who both your parents weren't together. So already, right out the gate, you probably already had some understanding about how difficult relationships are. And my parents being together, I realized it was very difficult for them as well. Not easy for two people to come together and form one life together. I think the children make it easier. But then once the children grow up, there is this concern about, okay, now we have to deal with one another. And so that's a whole other ballgame. When all of your focus was geared towards the children for so many years, and now that they're grown, now you have to deal with each other. And we know that it's not easy, especially during this day and age, when the enemy is so busy to divide folk up with all kinds of misunderstandings and why did he say that and why did she say this and why did they do this and why did they do that. We're so sensitive these days and we're keeping an eye out on everything. Why? Because we're trying to guard our heart from hurt and pain. And so we focus and major on the minors. And what that means is we focus on some of the smallest things that don't even matter because we're so busy trying to guard our hearts, make sure that we don't get played, make sure that no one tries to get over on us. And so there you have it. Well, these people who get on the platform to share that advice, now if they're doing it free and you can get some tips and that kind of thing, it's neither yay or nay. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. But then be wary of those who charge you a price for it. So these, they're probably giving you really good advice and really some really good tips. And so you're going to listen to them regardless. You're going to do you, of course. But my advice to you would be, if you start seeing yourself going down the realm of having to pay for that advice from these relationship gurus now, folk who, they may have been married or not. They may have been in a lot of relationships, maybe have a lot of expertise based on being in social networking, areas where they are able to network with a lot of folk and know a lot of people, and so they know a lot of people and behaviors and how to navigate around that. And so whether they're giving you that advice based on having a successful marriage experience or not, be wary of paying for that advice. Open up the Bible. Focus on your relationship with the Most High God. I think He gives us the best advice just through having a relationship with Him, telling us how we should be and where we should go. So for me, I can get in these states where I lose faith, and I think that's a part of being on this Christian walk. We are trying to be more like Christ. That's what Christianity means. Christian, being a follower of Christ. So we're trying to be more like Him and follow His steps in how we should be and how we should handle things. And I think He's the first source. I would even be weary of getting advice from, well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say from pastors, because you have to be careful with which pastors you're going to, those who may have been married for many years and who are really on the up and up and they're not on the come up. Yeah, you might be able to get a lot of good advice from them because they're going to come to you from a biblical perspective. They're going to come to you with, well, what does the Bible say? That's the kind of advice you're going to want to have. And then that advice you'll be able to take with you. And it can be reinforced over and over again as you continue to study those scriptures for life. Because we fall back. We backslide. backslide. As Christians, we backslide. And what I mean by that, not just necessarily meaning, oh, I sinned. What I mean by that is that we fall off the wagon with our faith. We start getting doubtful. You know, tears on your pillow when you're going to sleep at night. And then you have to snap yourself out of it and say, what am I crying for? I'm blessed. God has blessed me. And I have faith that this is the desire of my heart. If you desire to get married, if you desire to have a family, just put your faith in the Most High God. There are many people who can testify. They were single at one time, and then all of a sudden it happened. I didn't have to do this, that, or not that. I was just following God, getting my mind focused on Him. He had me going down this path, and it happened. I think that's the best strategy to have. And just going back on the fact that those are times when you do kind of fall off and backslide and whatever, where you're losing your faith and not really speaking words to yourself based on what the Word or what the Bible tells you or what the Lord tells you. We do that. We get off of get off the wagon, so to speak. And so we have to build ourselves back up in the Lord. The scriptures tell us we have to really work out our own salvation by studying the scriptures and inquiring of the Lord what it is you want of me. Do you want me to maintain single? Do you want me to be married? How do you want me to live this life? The Lord says He didn't want any man to be alone. So that tells me there that we should be together, man and woman, husband and wife. But then when you read in the new scriptures, times have changed from, certain times in the Bible to times when Jesus came and after. As you saw, there was a lot of, with the apostles, a lot of persecution, a lot of things going on. I can't even imagine. I was reading that the other day. I was reading in 2 Corinthians and, just kind of expounding on it, thinking about Paul writing these letters from prison, Roman prisons. We know the Romans. We know how tormentous and how torturous of a culture that was when it came to their systems and punishing those who they considered, folk who were going against the law. You know how tormentous and torturous they were towards them. And thinking how he would write these encouraging letters and letters of correction to those churches, and how I thought to myself, he was mentioning about his opinion about being married or being single. And he said it was his opinion. So he wasn't really basing that on what God told him. He said, well, in my opinion, if you can remain single, do that. But if you feel like you've got to commit fornication and do all of that, then marry. Don't fornicate. Now, I'm not going to put my business out there, but I'll tell you very clearly, I believe in abstaining from fornication. And what that includes to me is not just sleeping with someone else, but I mean masturbation, pornography, walking around, looking at yourself in sexually lingerie if you're a woman, and men flexing themselves in the mirror with minimal clothes, trying to really gauge a sense of sexuality in your, while you're single. I think that needs to be eliminated. And it may be hard when you're younger, but when you abstain from all of that and really truly follow Christ, you don't have time for all that mess. I think masturbation is sin. I think what they told us in school, in health class, remember that when you were in middle school? Oh, it's natural. It's, part of your biological makeup. A lot of them are the things that our flesh desires and ask for because it's flesh. We have to discipline that flesh. We're not supposed to feed it. Right now, I want to eat a pizza with a piece of chocolate cake on the side and a big old glass of cold milk with ice in it. And I'll take a salad with it. I can take it or leave it. I want, a lot of the things I want is food-based, which is why I'm on this treadmill now. But do you see how your body can crave things that may not be best for it? But just because it's craving it doesn't mean you should feed it. And so part of our walk as children of God, our walk is to, part of that walk is to discipline the flesh. Because the flesh wars against what the Spirit wants. The Spirit wants us to be pure, wants us to walk upright before the Lord, in peace and holiness. Without, no man shall see God. The Bible wants us to walk, Jesus wants us to walk like him. The Lord wants us to walk in a certain way. Because as we walk in that way is leading us to somewhere. And where that is eternal life. We're not going to be on this earth for long, guys. It's going to be our lifetime, and then there's going to be judgment after we die. And so, when we're dabbling with sins like fornication, you are really sinning against your own body, the scriptures read. And so who knows where a lot of sicknesses and diseases and things like that come from. Mental health disorders and all those kinds of things that are spirits that attaches onto our bodies because we've opened that door. And so my suggestion would be to abstain from all of that, and all of the fornication, all of that stuff. Stop, get rid of all that, put your big mama panties on, stop flexing in front of the mirror and looking at yourself and feeling on yourself. Stop doing all of that. It is not beneficial to you. Keeps you burning and burning. So Paul said if you can stay single like me, and you can do that and maintain, do it. I would suggest that for everyone, because then your focus is going to be on God and God only. So that tells me while we're single, that's what we should be doing. Focusing on the Lord. Focusing on what he wants us to do. Now, if he has marriage in store for us, then he's going to bring that. There's no algorithm or book that you should buy to help that speed along or whatever. If God means that for you and you're walking upright before him, then he's going to have someone special for you, regardless of what the statistics say. Because we're doing a spiritual walk here. And in a spiritual walk, things happen for us in a manner that's not flesh-oriented. It's spiritual-oriented. It's supernatural. It's not flesh-oriented. So statistics don't matter when it comes to God bringing a man and woman together in a spiritual format. And that's where we need to get into, the Spirit. The Lord says, walk in the Spirit, and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So that's our focus when we're single, is focusing on the Lord, what he wants for us. There are certain things personally that he wants us to do, whether it's through ministry, whether it's through helping people, whether it's in our families, whatever it is, he has a work for us. And then when he feels he's ready for us to come together as husband and wife, he will prepare us for that. So I do think there are some folk who God has anointed to share relationship advice and things of that nature. Now, keep in mind, I haven't done any full deep research on this stuff. And I really don't know the full gamut of what these relationship gurus are all about. And I guess I'm clumping it all together, meaning relationship gurus or anyone that's giving relationship advice. And pardon me for doing that, because like I said, I know that there are people that God has anointed to be able to share those kinds of things for all of us, because it is important. He knows in this day and age that it has not really been emphasized how to be in a marriage, because you find a lot of couples who are struggling even within their marriage. We look at them on their best days, as I've heard someone say, on social media. You see them cat-cat and kicking and enjoying the holidays, and look at us, we're together, look at how we're doing. But you're never going to see them in the trenches. And if they are married couples for some significant, if they're married, and the married couples will tell you, there are the trenches as well. No, we don't want to see the trenches, because there are some deep trenches that you can go to in a marriage. And it's not fun. It's not easy. So when we see them on these social media platforms wearing their Christmas sweaters and their children running around and they're cooking, and it seems like they're all having a good time, and we're looking and saying, what about me? Well, they're walking the walk that God has for them. And it's not an easy walk. Just like the walk you're walking, it's not easy. Now, I believe the Lord has someone for everyone, because he does say it's not good for man to be alone. And he was specifically saying that about Adam, which is why he built. Did I just say he built a woman? Well, he created. So he created Eve out of the rib of Adam. And Adam looked at her and said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He decided that she was his wife. God didn't tell him that. He said, I'm going to make him someone so that he wouldn't be alone. And he created Eve out of his womb. And he looked at Eve and was like, whoa, that is my woman. Okay? And so, what I'm saying to you is, let's rely on the spiritual nature that God created us as being spiritual beings. Let's rely on that. Let's get back to staying healthy, getting and staying in the right mind, keeping our minds on the Lord and staying focused in the Word, fasting, praying, congregating yourselves with others, fellowshipping with one another, coming together in church or various organizations that you are joined into, Christian-based functions and things of that nature that keep you on that path of staying in peace and holiness with the Lord. So let us focus in on those things so that when that right fit, that right person comes for you, he will be there for you. And it will be natural. It will be organic. It will not be something that you try to conjure up. You know, these conjuring of things these days from the New Age movement of, you know, if I could just will something to come to pass. That borderlines on witchcraft. It borderlines on, instead of maintaining under God's will, you're trying to conjure or reel something into you based on your own will, you know, conjuring it up. Like, and so let's kind of stay away from that and focus on the woman that the Lord created us to be. I am a woman of a certain age, and so now I'm talking to women of a certain age. I'm in a relationship. But in relationships when you're older versus when you're younger, it's different. And I'm going to tell you, young and old, do not give up your valuable body to anyone. To anyone. Number one, it's wrong biblically. Number two, you are selling yourself short, because why would the guy buy the milk if you're giving it away for free? If you're feeling hot or on fire and you just can't maintain, get married. And if you're not going to get married, pray. But that's never going to get you towards anyone. Don't think, young ladies, don't think putting on that tight outfit and pushing your boobs up and trying to show your body to everyone, don't think that's going to make a man marry you. Now, some men who don't mind you putting yourself out there like that, you have to question, well, why wouldn't they want me to cover up? Because this is supposed to be for him. And the quietness of our bedroom. What has happened is the media has influenced a lot of women. It's okay to do that. Now in the movies, the women are the aggressors. The women are the pursuers. The women are looking at someone and I'm going to just jump him because they're deciding I'm going to take on this manly mentality and go and jump whoever I want to jump and think it's not going to affect me. It will affect you. Because see, a man can get away with it because he's not receiving anything. He's giving it. But you as a woman, you're receiving it all. And believe it or not, what you're receiving gets into your system, into your bone marrow, to your very DNA. I'm on sperm now. We're adults. So that's being distributed inside you. I don't care how tough, how much of a woman you think you are. Feminists who feel like, I can be like a man. No, you emotionally, it is going to weigh heavily on you. If it's not doing it immediately, trust me, down the road it will. Now this is advice coming from a woman of a certain age. Not to judge you or put you down, but say, hey, watch that. The tight outfits, putting them on, going to the clubs, and hey, look at what I have. And you can have this too. That may attract certain men. And like I said, those men who don't mind you flaunting yourself in front of everyone, question that man as to why. Because a real man, he would feel some way about it. He may not say anything to you because, he's not going to try to disrespect you, but he's going to check that off and register that with himself. A man likes rarity. He likes something that is not displayed to the world. Men like big ticket items. And if they have a lot of money, you see them buy one-of-a-kind type of items. A male's mentality is that of, he wants a jewel that's very valuable, that no one else has. That's why a virgin is the best thing for a man to marry. I mean, he's not going to ask for anything more than that. No one else has been there. No one else has been checking that. And this is all belongs to me, because he has that kind of a mindset. And so when you're showing yourself to be sexual and sexually oriented to him, he registers that. And little by little, he's going to take pieces and pieces away from you. And he may or may not marry you. But it's going to leave you feeling some kind of way if he doesn't. It's going to make you feel empty. And so you don't want to have years and years and years of doing that. Now, I'd like to say this after having said all of that. I don't mean to demean or devalue or judge anyone who may find themselves in that position. Some of you are, in the areas of entertainment, like acting or things of that nature. And so a lot of times it's emphasized for you to reveal a little bit more for yourself, or to reveal a little bit more of yourself, so that you can get yourself out there, to separate yourself from that next female actor or actress or whoever. You know what I'm saying. So some of you are pursuing certain personal goals or career goals that require you to look a certain way, dress a certain way, and be a certain way. And I can't make a decision about that because I'm not in that position. But when I'm referring to male and female relationships, men and women together, and attracting a man, and attracting a good man, Because just because a man marries you and puts a ring on your finger, is that the right man that God chose for you? I went down that path. You know, I didn't wait for the Lord to lead me and guide me into that marriage. I just did it because I was attracted to him. He was attracted to me. We didn't lay down any financial goals or plans or where we saw ourselves 5 or 10 years down the road. We didn't even know anything about marriage. We just did it. And so if I could save someone from going down that path, just watch that. But you see, the media, when I says they don't emphasize marriage and families coming together, because you see a lot of, let's say I'm watching a movie and the lady decides, what is she doing? She goes out on a date and she's a single lady. I have some of these single series that I watch. They do the same thing where they go out on a date and it seems like that same night they're sleeping together. And they give you the impression that that's okay. Those one night stands, that's okay. It's okay for a woman to go from man to man to man. It's okay to do that. There's kind of like this implied thing. So much so that now we have an issue with our very, very, very young women. Those who have been raised dysfunctionally on the internet, selling their bodies at 12 and 13 years old because they think that is the way to get money and to use my body to get what I want. And so there's this mentality when you're young that you have to use your body, use all the goods that God gave you in order to attract something, whether it's a man or money or marriage or whatever. And that burden is laid on the woman. And see, today now it's laid on the man because we've evolved to this more of a homosexual community where now these men are trying to attract men. And so they're also doing the same thing. Dressing a certain way, trying to look a certain way, emphasizing certain body parts that only belong in the bedroom. And it's displayed out for everyone to see. And there's no value in that. It devalues you as a person. And so my hope is that you can kind of hear the words. It may sting a little bit, but we're at the end of the year. And we're not getting closer to the way things used to be. Things have changed, and they're changed for good. I keep saying we're going towards a new world order. I mean, our heads of states are telling us that. And none of us are prepared for it because we're busy being laden with sins. And there's a scripture that reads something similar to, these are the sorts that creep in the house of silly women laden with sin. And I just shortened it up a bit because it gets right to the point in saying that when women are in a sin nature, meaning fornicating, whoring, jumping from house to house and backbiting and meddling with other people's business. The scriptures read about all these kinds of things that women do when they're not single and covered. Instead, that leaves them open to a lot of sin and a lot of sin nature and doing a lot of things that's outside the character of a virtuous woman. So these women who are vulnerable are being taken advantage of by these relationship gurus, by these even pastors who are really selling a lot of books and stuff on relationships and selling their time and CDs and all of that kind of stuff. And when you question these pastors who are taking advantage of your vulnerability and telling you to give up all your money. See, if you had a man, he's going to tell you, no, don't give him that. We got some bills that we have to pay. No, don't run up there on that, put that on that altar. Just because he said to do so doesn't mean God is leading you to do that. When you give from your heart. You give from what the Lord tells you to give. Don't let these pastors burden you into this tithing and offering anointing that they feel like they have. If you didn't give during that moment, you might not get your blessing. You better do it. So that has been a marketing tactic to the women who are single. And if you don't have a covering, like a man to tell you no, because see, God is covering that man and giving that man, it's really in a biblically correct order, God is giving that man advice that you don't hear. And when he tells you, don't give them that money, he may see some things behind what these men are doing that you don't see. And so I question a lot of that. A lot of these pastors that I've watched for many years, a lot of them based on these large networks, I've had to cut myself off from some of that because their intentions to me seem to be in the wrong place. Seems that they have gotten so high up and profited so much off of people. They'll tell you they're not profiting off of people. They'll tell you they don't skim off the tithe and offerings. And they may not be doing that, but they're selling you their books and their CDs. And they'll say, well, that's my own personal. That's one of my own personal. That's my own personal business. But you're using your congregation, who God led you to pastor, you're using them as your customer base. You're not advertising to people outside of them because they're the ones that's going to buy your books. And so you have a certain number of people in your congregation, and you calculate that against the items that you're selling, you can make a pretty penny pocket, a pretty nice penny. And so don't say you're not profiting off of the people because you're selling your books to the people that God sent to you. And that's why when you see in a lot of these churches, especially in the black church, there's more single women than anything. And a lot of men, you see that's minimal. The single women are doing everything. They're running everything in that church. The Jezebel spirit and all of that all over. You know, because they've taken over the black church. And they're very territorial, we as women are. And so they keep that in the atmosphere, and they create that atmosphere in the church. So any other person coming in feels unwanted. They feel like you're coming into some place where there's a king being protected. And that king isn't Jesus, it's the pastor. But I've also seen some very humble pastors and who have an understanding of what this world is and how the media influences us into thinking that, yeah, get married, but we're showing you something different. See, our society says we should be married. There are benefits to it, of course. But when you look at the media, they're saying, no, sleep with every man. Do this, push up your boobs and poke out your lips and twerk all day and night. And that kind of image is the kind of image that is a quote-unquote wife. And they're lying to you. And the women coming out the gate, twerking, 2-year-olds twerking and going on, shaking their butts, not knowing symbolically what it means in the spiritual kingdom. You know, that butt, you don't know what that means. You know, you won't even delve into that. I'm not even going to go there. But there's a spiritual significance to all of that you see. The hip-hop community, the rock and roll community, sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know. It's all telling you to do all of these things, have fun, YOLO, and then when it's time for you to settle and get married, you're wondering what's happening. Why? Very foolish to put everything out for all to see. Very foolish. Including your natural body and yourself. The reason is because some things are left better kept to yourself and to the ones that you relationships, to your significant other. I have a lot of professional advice, but I have a walk with Christ that I've lived since I was born, because my parents raised me in the church. I can tell you how it feels being raised in the church and then rebelling from it. I can tell you how it feels coming back into the fold and being hungry for walking upright before the Lord. And this is where a lot of my advice and my emphasis is when it comes to anything that we're living in. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. I hope you receive something of value. I hope you all have a wonderful, merry Christmas. Christ was born, wasn't he? And I heard several of the other YouTubers say this, and I would say it too. Doesn't matter if he was born on the 25th. We still take this time out to celebrate that he was born. That's what we do know. I got that from my sister, Lady T, Tanya Howe. Head on over to her channel and check her out. She will give you some words of advice on how to stay focused. She has a channel called Abide in the Vine, where she comes on during her very busy schedule and provides biblical advice and goes through the word with you. Go on over to that channel and get some of that in you. And focus on the Lord. He's going to lead you down the right path. Trust me. So that's all I have to say. I'm saying this with pleasure today in reaction to my rant, relationship guru before. I'm going to put all my, video links down below. I want you guys to have some happy holidays. Eat well. I'm going to share a couple of more videos this month of holiday meals that I, prepared. And I hope you take advantage of that. And yeah, it's just nice to sit here and chat with you. Hey, I've been on this thing for an hour and 15 minutes and it feels good. But when I cut up the video, of course, and edit it, probably only going to be 10 minutes of, all the tangents I go on. Once I see that it's an hour and 15 minutes or so, it gets cut down very short. So that you don't see all those tangents I go on. But I hope I can cut it down and edit it to a point where it can give you some advice, something to go on towards in the next year, and just focus on that. It may seem bleak, and it may seem bleak. It may seem like, oh man, everything I have to do seems so hard. That's just the way life is these days. And we have to put on our big girl panties and leave all that sexy lingerie alone, getting in the mirror and all that stuff. Like I said, put on your big girl panties, face the music, and live your life for God, because he's going to give you the peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding, to guard your heart and your mind through Christ Jesus. Keep your focus on him. He's going to lead you to that right man. Trust me in this. All right, guys, that's all I have to say. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have happy holidays. Enjoy your family. Enjoy one another. Eat good food. Stay fit and healthy. And God bless.